Paul Wagner in studio, and I've had Eric Tasker out of the studio. This is weird. Eric, you should be here, but you're not. It's weird. Technology, we made it happen, but hey, I've got Wags in the studio, which is a good thing, and you're out there. So let's start where we left off the show last Saturday morning. Now, we're back in the normal time slot. By the way, I don't think we'll be asked to be the warm-up for the Badger football team anytime soon after Alabama. Yeah, it was a little rough one. But let's be honest. Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. But I got tricked. I got tricked when it was 3-0 and they missed the field goal. I thought, hey, whoa,
Right.
something could happen.
Right.
Something could crazy happen.
It was only 8 minutes in the first quarter.
But I know.
But you know what? The longer and longer that game stayed close, the more and more interesting it got until we got to the second half.
Well, let's be honest, okay? You lose your starting quarterback, and no one saw that. And then you bring in Braden Locke, and I'm sorry, I feel bad for Braden Locke.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's coming in against the Citadel. He's coming against Alabama. Now, again, and you know this, Wags. I mean, you can speak to this better than anybody, being a reliever. I mean, you were a starter, too, but you relieved a little bit, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the other night when Colin Ray had to come in, you know, in the sense that, man, we're not playing some, bad team here. We're going against one of the best teams in the country.
Faster, quicker, bigger, stronger. It's not like even South Dakota. I mean, obviously they're a top they're FBS. Is that? They're FBS. Yeah. Yeah, they're their top team there. But this isn't like. Yeah, that's a tough gig, and you can't prepare for that. You cannot prepare for that.
I thought he got better as the game went along.
Yes, he got you. Yeah.
Yeah, once you get, and that's something too. Talk to me a little bit about that. So when your number is called, okay, take me back. And again, we'll get to the sports stuff. We'll get to the outdoor stuff in a minute. But I'm always fascinated when I get a chance to talk to you. The mentality of an athlete in that situation. I mean, you have the physical gifts. That's why you're at this level. But mentally, that's what really separates the great ones from the guys who made it to the show, right?
Exactly. He has got to realize that if this is a long-term situation, off week this week, see where it goes. He's got to eliminate the decals on the helmet, and it's football like he's always played. This is football. You got to do it. You got to follow your X's and O's. You got to follow your game plan. You have to do your reads. You have to do everything that you've always done. Eliminate the decals on the helmet if you can. Sort of like when you get up to the plate. When the guys get up to the plate and I'm on the mound, I have got to eliminate the name on the back of their jersey. I got to pretend that it's not Albert Pujols, that it's not Mike Trout or Christian Yelich. You have to pretend that it's somebody else. It's just a left-handed hitter or a right-handed hitter.
You know as well as I do, Tasker, when he says you have to pretend, man, that's hard to do.
Yeah. There's certainly a mental block that happens there, where you're thinking a lot of things. It's the big dance, it's the big show. You know, you've been thinking about this moment your whole life, but now it's finally happening, and then to be put in the game against the Alabama of the world. It's a lot, I think, especially for an 18, 19-year-old to process. But you go in and you just have the mentality of, I know what I'm capable of. I've done everything in practice, and this is what I've always hoped for. And you just got to try and look past that, as hard as that is.
I don't think it's as we outsiders look at it. It's not as hard for the athlete to do that. So,
right.
I don't think he thought he was overmatched. He wasn't overwhelmed.
It's really interesting you say that, because this summer I spent a little bit of time with Mason Crosby, and we were talking about some of his big kicks. And I said, how do you? He goes, I don't know how I do it. He said, maybe it was a gift, but I am able to shut everything down.
Yeah.
He said, I can. When I walk on the field, I don't hear anything. He says, I know it sounds crazy, but I can shut down my brain. So all I do is I focus on the kick. It doesn't guarantee I'm going to make it, but I can shut it down. And Wags, it goes to what you said too. And here, guys, we're going to draw a parallel. I'm going to bring us back into what Tailgate Talk is about. How many times, and we've all experienced this, you're in the woods by daybreak. You've sat there all day. It's a beautiful day. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. Your mind has been wandering because you haven't seen anything. And then, lo and behold, out of the brush right by your stand, here comes the buck you've been waiting for. And when that moment arises, it's the same thing, right, Wags? You got to shut
exactly
it down. You got to focus in, and you got to go because you've waited. You've practiced for this moment, and you don't know when that moment's going to arise. And it's the same thing. You got to be ready for the moment, right?
I'm a lot more nervous when a buck comes. It's funny you said that about Mason because I can literally go where even my first game in the big leagues, 40,000 fans in Atlanta, my dad was sitting up in the family section. For some odd reason, I found that focus. I found it, and I've done it throughout my career. But I can hear my dad, no matter where he is in the stands. I can somehow hear my dad yell, and I don't know how that is,
It's because he's hollered at you since
so
you've been 10 years old.
Come on, Paul! But you're probably Paul! Throw a damn strike! Throw a damn strike! But you're probably saying you're crazy, and I guarantee you, Mason, there's like certain individuals or certain sounds that you do. When I throw ball 2 and no strikes, I reset. I'll find one spot. I'll find section at every stadium when I get on the mound. After the national anthem, I always find one, whether it says taco and tequilas, whether it says section 113.
Shocking, that's the one he found.
Hot dogs, Dodger dogs, you find one spot and you get it. And it's something you roll your eyes when an athlete says they filter it all out, but it's true. When a big buck comes through or when I hear a squirrel, my heart starts pounding. I'd rather face Aaron Judge or Ohtani or Barry Bonds than this big buck coming in because I'm always nervous.
Let me ask you two guys this question then, and we'll stick to hunting, what this show is about. Is that would you – and remember last week you did Would You Rather?
Yeah.
Would you rather see this buck 300 yards away walking towards you, or would you rather have this buck – come out of nowhere at 50 yards in front of you so you have no time to process?
I will. Okay, so I'll go first on this, Wag. So I would say I would rather it be at 50 yards because I guess that's what I'm used to. And I think everybody knows this buck fever feeling. And I have this weird way of going through a hunt that as soon as I've made the mental decision that I'm either going to take a shot or I'm not taking a shot, say it's a smaller buck or say it's a doe and we're not, quite ready to be taking does at that point in the season. I will get the shakes as soon as I have gotten past that point of, okay, what are we doing? Are we doing this? Are we grabbing our bow? Are we doing all the things that we need to do in preparation for a shot, or are we actually just going to watch this deer come in and we're not going to do anything? I have gotten to the point where I get the shakes after that's going to happen. So just a processing thing of figuring out what we're going to do and then going from there. But if I had a deer that was 300 yards away and was walking in, I think I would overthink it. And there would just be too many things to think about. Okay, well, what if it comes this way? What if it walks that way? When do I grab my bow? When do I do this? When do I do that? I think it would be too much. I would be overwhelmed.
Yeah. Me, I don't know. I thought you were going, you wanted more time, and then you just finished up with you don't want more time. So I didn't know because I'm a reactionary. I want that thing, like Timmy just said, I want him to pop right out. And not even time to think. I just react. I grab my bow. I'm quiet. I know where my pins are set. I know my lengths, and because I always have a mark. I'll sit up there and like we all do. I'll range find. This is 25 yards. This is 30 yards. This is 35 yards. I got my pieces in my mind. I'd rather have him just come out, react, boom, and then shake after that thing has been hit.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, let's recap the field trips from last Saturday. We talked about Again, we were very honest with our audience, which I'm assuming they appreciate. We're always with our audience. We're always honest with our audiences. And that we were tape delayed, or not tape delayed. We were taped because I was on my field trip, which was I did the double dip. I survived. I did tailgates on Saturday in Madison, and then I ran hard on Sunday up at Lambeau for the Packers game, which was outstanding. You guys were both in the woods, so we'll let you guys go first because the gist of the show, it is an outdoor show. So, Wags, we'll start with you. How was your field trip on Saturday?
So, it kind of with the weather and me looking at it and figuring out what was going on, I kind of decided to pass sitting. So what we did is we took a drive out to a little bit west of Richland Center, Muscadet. We have some property out there. We rode around out there. We put up cameras, trail cameras. We looked at some new funnel points. Made sure that all the rednecks and the hawk blinds were cleaned out. Made sure that the buddy heaters, because if you don't get there all the time, and there's certain ones that we don't go to. So we did all of our prep work this weekend.
Can you clarify rednecks? Because I just had a thought, Muscadet, the movie Deliverance, and that type of stuff. So just clarifar, right, Eric?
My box blind. Let's go with box blind.
Okay,
It's my box blind.
And did you tour your property with your camouflage golf cart?
I did. Some guys had Rambo bikes. Some guys, but again, we weren't necessarily noise conscious, so we did have a couple gas vehicles up there, but we put in some licking branches and some sticks and some cameras and just checked it around and kind of looked at it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not my property. It's a property that I've been privileged enough to hunt.
So you were a property manager, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Caretaker?
Or harvester.
Caretaker?
Yeah. Helper.
Yeah, okay. He's a hey buddy guy. That's
hey buddy. Hey buddy.
Right.
Hey,
Something needs to happen out there, Wag.
So you actually did not.
I did not
hunt this weekend.
I didn't, and I did not we didn't even take our bows up there, so we wouldn't be tempted.
Okay, so you're more on a sightseeing trip then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So Eric, how about your field trip over the weekend?
Yeah, so it's interesting, and I think we're going to dive a little more into this in the later parts of the show. But early season is just such an odd thing because we're in this 10th heat wave of summer, right? So you get out there and you're sweating already, and it doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. And it just kind of made me realize that sitting in, even if it's a moisture wicking shirt or if it is, the lightest gear that you have, I just got some new stuff that's super thin. It's very breathable. It's all of those things. It's just not super fun to sit early season unless it's colder. So I think I've just kind of gotten to the point, okay, we're through opening day. I've had my time in the woods already. I'm totally good with waiting. I think October 1st is looking ahead at the forecast. About October 1st is really the first time that we're going to get a little bit of that cold snap. I think we're going to get 40 degrees overnight on October 1st, which is very fitting because we all love getting into October, especially at the end of it. Pretty uneventful, I will say. I mean, there's some squirrel hunters out there, so that is always kind of a nuisance. But, I'm glad that I was able to kind of go out there and do that. But at the same time, I realize why I just really enjoy hunting when it's 40 degrees outside, because it feels more like deer hunting as opposed to wanting to be on Lac La Belle fishing.
So it took 162 shows, but who's counting, before we landed a sponsor for Paul Wagner.
Yeah.
Yes. Zabe may have Quick Trip. Drew and KB may have Circus Sports. Wags. And when you're thinking about endorsements for Paul Wagner, you're thinking maybe Rawlings. You're thinking maybe, like Mizuno. Does Mizuno do anything anymore? Baseball-related items, right? Nah, that's not what Wags is all about. Wags is all about Busch beer. Congratulations. Yes.
Busch Light.
Busch Light, baby.
Busch
Way to
Light.
go, Wags.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Help of
Even
all.
that sultry voice that he has.
The help of all.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's coming
great.
next, right? He's going to be the next guy that appears in the commercials,
Well, I'm hoping for
the
those
puffy
POP,
vest,
Yeah.
the LL Bean
cutouts
pants.
in stores.
Oh no, I'll be the guy that you see on those your Facebook or your YouTube reels where everything goes to hell. Kayaks tip over, guys fall, but all you see when they fall down, they have their one arm still up in the air and the Busch Light hasn't spilled, and they're like, "Doesn't matter what I lost. Look, I saved the beer."
Yeah. It's funny because those usually make the ESPN top 10 or whatever. Those plays with that. So right. It's always fun. But yeah, I mean it's great because this is I believe this is the 6th year now that they've been doing these camo cans. But they do a lot with outdoor and conservation, so it's really cool that it's just such a great fit for WAGs, of course, but also for our show that, the camel cans are coming back, and I think that's always a telltale sign that deer season is here and that, we're in the thick of a lot of different things right now, so it's exciting to have them on board.
Yeah, think about that for a minute. Now, the hunting cans are available in October and November, but it's not the leaves falling. It's not picking up acorns. It's not, watching corn being harvested or beans being harvested. Nope. First sign of fall is when those Busch Light camo cans come out.
Sir.
That's what tells you. It's fall. It's hunting time, baby. It's here. So kudos to you, Wags. It's great.
Well, thank you. Thank you, you guys. Well, we all did it, and it's all part of it, and it's good for Saturday mornings, and it's good for us, and that's what we wanted.
Well, and you know what also has to happen when we talk about our new sponsor, Busch Light? Announcer guy has to say, "Please enjoy responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri."
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Always.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, Bunzels, back in it, tailgating. Man, I was in the thick of tailgating, guys. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with the double dipper.
Saturday, our buddy Scott Reamer, who was the lead on the new studio build down the hallway.
Yes.
He's done a lot of renovations here. He did the Steinhoffel's Lounge. That was all his creation. And so he was throwing a little tailgate party. And lo and behold, I go to this tailgate party. I have no idea who's going to be there. And there's a real estate agent in the Pewaukee area by the name of Tom Squire. You guys know him. Him and his wife are great realtors. Matter of fact, I bought and sold 4 houses with Tom and his wife. And anyway, walk into the tailgate party. Who's there? My realtor's there on top of it. Yes. So it was great. Met a lot of their family. That was before the Badger game.
What time was that?
We started 8:30. 8:30. Yeah. And I would have had a Busch Light, but they did not have Busch Light at the party I was at. Right. Now, they should have had Busch Light, and I'll recommend if I go back that they bring Busch Light, but they didn't have Busch Light. So we went from there, and then we went to Union South to watch some of the Badger football game there. We stayed there until it kind of got out of hand, and then we're like, okay, we need to go.
Back to the tailgate.
So, yeah. So we went home, and we changed clothes and hopped in the vehicle, and we drove up to Oshkosh, stayed overnight in Oshkosh, and then we attacked the Resch Center and the Packer tailgate. We were there by 7:15 on Sunday morning. So my wife's uncle from Canada was in town. The guy grew up in Wisconsin, moved to Canada for different reasons. And anyway, never been to a Packer game in his life. That's one of the coolest things about when you go to Lambeau Field. That, where we're set up there outside the Resch Center, you meet so many Packer fans. And yes, there's the uniqueness to me about the Packers is that it's not the same people. Yes, there's a group that always goes to Packer games, but there's so many newbies. There's so many bucket list people. And we met this great couple from Oklahoma who had driven up, and they were in their 70s, and it's their bucket list. And that's the way it was with my wife's uncle. It was his bucket list. I said, "Ross, you really?" He goes, "Tim, I never went to a Packers game." So I kind of set him up. And he went with my brother-in-law, and we went to the game. Met a lot of people at our tailgate outside the Resch, the Bart Star Plaza tailgate. By the way, tickets are cheap, $50. You get all you can eat, all you can drink. Go to ReschCenter.com. And that's a cool thing about it. Now, some people like to do their own tailgates, and that's fine. Bunzels is a good source for that. But Resch Center, great people, Heidi and that team over there. So after the game was done, my wife and I went to one of the bars around Lambeau Field to spend some more time with her uncle. Looked at my watch, and it was 7 o'clock.
Really?
And I said to my wife, I go, Big Daddy's going to drive home, and I'm running out of steam. Say goodbye to your uncle. We're going home.
Oh, man.
So we rolled in back at Lake Mills at about 8:30, and I was done.
Ooh, a 12-hour sprint, huh?
But it was
12-hour
fun.
Sprint.
But,
Yeah.
but for 2 days we ran hard.
Yeah.
And then you realize on Monday you're not 45 anymore.
Yeah.
And then to make the whole weekend complete. So Monday we kind of wrap up this long sojourn. You're going to like this, Eric. So we kicked off our Packers Legends series, our Green and Gold Legends series at Potawatomi in the sports book, right? So Dorsey Levens was our featured guest. He was with Matt Schneidman, and then a lot of great fans met him afterwards in the sports book. So I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for Dorsey to come down, and this guy walks in, taller guy, kind of bigger guy. And I looked and I go, and I didn't tell you this. I'm looking at him going, God, that looks a lot like Paul Wagner. All of a sudden, Wags looks at me. I look at him, and he goes, what are you doing here?
I can hear Wag's voice saying that.
So we're chopping it up a little bit. Dorsey comes off the elevator, and I said to Dorsey, I go, hey, I want you to meet Paul Wagner, one of our guys. And Wags, this is why I love you. You go, I'm nobody. And I was, I'm going to give an athlete-to-athlete respect. I'm going to roll out who he was. Dude cuts me right off. He's like, nope, I'm nobody. Dorsey, great to see you. Loved you when you played.
Yeah.
It was cool. He looked good, didn't he?
He did. He looked little. Yeah. He looked little, like he's in shape.
Well, he's lost. I mean,
he lost weight.
How many those guys? They drop lbs. Have you seen Chris McIntosh?
Yeah.
Oh my
Him?
God!
Looks like a different guy.
Well, even Jamie.
Jamie Vanderbilt. Yeah, our buddy Jamie.
Yeah.
Same way.
No, but there were so many people waiting for you. Introduced me to, I think his name was Luis or from Pato.
He's the head guy at Pato.
And he great guy. But I knew you had other things doing. I knew people were waiting for him, and I didn't want start talking. But thanks for the introduction. It was great meeting him. Shook his hand, said hello, and you know what? You guys do your thing. And I tried to come back up to the sports book afterwards, and I did a little gambling. Couldn't find you, but
I was gone by then, buddy.
Yeah, the casino table absolutely found me, and they just took all my money. Damn poker tables.
Oh man!
Hey, I'm looking for Tim Scott. Sit right here, Paul, and put some money down. Oh, okay. Thanks for your money. He's not here.
We'll
Bye.
get your VIP table. You just got to ask next time.
That's great.
Yeah, so it was great to see you on Monday night.
It was a surprise.
Yeah, it was great to see you. So, Bunzels, let's get back to that because I'm sure a lot of people in Madison for the Alabama game or maybe at Lambeau Field in the parking lots and around Lambeau Field, somebody had Bunzels on the grill. You know that, Eric. That had to be the case.
Yeah, there's no way that, that entire tailgate situation didn't have pounds and pounds of, the finest cuts in Milwaukee on the grill there. And we always talk about what their monthly meat deal is, but they also do a great job of doing weekly in-store specials too. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had the Al Capone roast where they do the boneless roast where there's Italian sausage, the cheese in there, hard salami, red onions, all that stuff. Well, they always have specials on a variety of items throughout the week. Like ribeyes are on sale this week. Al Capone roasts are on sale this week. London broils are on sale this week.
Tell me, stop right there. Okay. Oh. We all know that prices are sky high, right? So I've been very close at Bunzels and some other places to buy the London broil.
Okay.
Have either of you guys had the London broil? Have you had it?
I have not either.
Okay. My wife, a woman she works with, swears by it, loves it. You got to marinate it, do everything else. But when you talk to Bunzels, I want a little follow up on the London broil, okay?
Okay.
Educate me on that.
Okay. Yeah. So they actually make of course, like with a lot of these things, they're Al Capones, they're London broils, a lot of the things that they do, they make them all and prep them all in-house, and then you can buy them by the pound. So $12.99 a pound. It's top round, cheddar, Swiss cheese, red onion, mushrooms, steak seasoning, so it's already pre-seasoned, and then Sicilian breadcrumbs. I haven't had one, but I would eat that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and what I love about those is that you could it's something easy. You kind of just grab a side at the deli counter there, and then you're set for dinner. It makes it really easy for you to bring something home and The missus is happy. You're happy. Everybody's happy.
So we were talking meat with Munzels. I just had a flashback to the tailgate I was at in Madison. They had red stag that were made into little beef sticks.
Oh,
Yeah.
Red stag.
how was that?
Delicious. Delicious.
That sounds fantastic.
It's so funny because he told us what it was. And my wife and I, first time we met these people outside of the realtor in Scott Reamer. And we're like trying to be polite. And we've all been in those social situations, right? And I'm looking at Dawn and I'm like, is she going to go in that bag and is she going to eat one of those? And sure enough, she did. And she went to me out. She goes, actually, it was pretty good. So yeah, I had red, I don't, you want to call, I guess a stick. That's what you would call it. But it was red stag. And they had gotten it in Canada, I think. That's where there's no red stag here in Wisconsin.
For Wisconsin, it
No,
would be,
yeah.
like the
Way
Texas.
up north?
Texas.
Texas? Maybe that's where
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, maybe that's where they got it from.
Texas is red stag.
Yeah. You know what? That's
Crazy.
what it was because he said it was so warm when they got it, they had to cut it up right away to get it out
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they
yeah.
had it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Probably not.
exactly.
It's Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Just another reason that it's tough to hunt early season.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing too, and I know we want to get in this other stuff. We're kind of running out of time in this segment. I just want to go here briefly because when I was walking in to do the show, they were talking about weather, and we have not had a drop of rain in almost 2 weeks. And they're saying Monday is the first time that we may see some rain, at least in this area. Gosh. I have not touched my lawn. I just let it go. My question to you, Paul Wagner, is how the food plot? How's it hanging in
My
there?
food plot is terrible.
Yeah.
I need rain so bad. And my cameras continue to go off, and it's smaller bucks. They're fighting each other. I had one nice little one come in, but the does and they're just, there's nothing there. Oh man, and they're crushing it. I need a good rain. I need a good resprout, if that is a term. I need some life put back into my food plot, or it's just going to be devastated fast.
How big is your food plot area?
The one my main one, what would you say? I don't remember how the acreage goes, but it's about 100 yards. Goes east and west about 120 yards, and then it goes north and south about 400 yards. So let's just say 100 plus yards by 400 plus yards.
Yeah.
The reason,
I would say
there's
that's
no way
pretty
you could
close.
water that, right? By
No,
yourself?
I can't. No, I can't.
Yeah, even if you got those big, like whatever they are, 500-gallon containers and threw it on the back of one of your four-wheelers or whatever, you'd have to do that so many times just to cover that.
Yeah.
It's just, it's tough. And, you don't have a TV show that you need to have this perfect mint food plot, so you're not spending all your time out there
exactly.
doing that.
And then
You don't have a $5,000 water bill every month.
Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, I got I'm drilling a water. I'm getting an irrigation system put in here. No, but I have been carrying my 5-gallon buckets out to my water holes. I got those small ones. I didn't do a liner. I didn't do a big koi pond. I didn't do 50-galloners or anything like that. I got small, about a 6 to 8 inch depth, a circular piece, probably about 3 feet in diameter. Probably holds more than the 10 gallons I bring in there, but that's about as much as I can carry. I tried doing it with the four-wheelers or the Ranger or something, and it's funny how you find out how many bumps you have wherever you go, because I got water everywhere. So I just said, I'm just going to do it. But my point is, they are crushing. Like that 10 gallons, I bring out 10 gallons probably almost every other day to a team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's funny because I think I've told you guys a story before that when we grew up, my dad had the great idea for hunting. He was going to put in a small apple orchard, right? Well, you have to water these trees, and the trees were not near the house. So what he did was he bought a 55-gallon oil drum, and he drilled a hole in the bottom of it, and he put a hose in it, and then he sealed that hose up with some putty, and then my brothers and we would fill this 55-gallon drum with water, and it was on the back of the ATV, the four-wheeler, and then we would go out in the apple orchard, and we'd drop the hose, And we had about 13 trees, and that's how we did it.
You told me about that.
Yeah.
I remember that now. I don't remember when, but you told me that story.
Yeah, we've done that. I'm scrolling through social media here, and shame on me for not being prepared for this, but which one of the Packer tight ends got that big buck?
Oh,
Did you
Luke.
see, was it Luke Musgrave?
Yes.
Musgrave got it.
Yes.
Yes, first Wisconsin deer. That's what I was gonna bring that up today.
And here's the thing I did not do. I did not look at the comments afterwards.
I didn't either.
Because there's going to be, way to go, Luke. Welcome to Wisconsin. Attaboy. Way to go, camouflage, man. And there's going to be somebody that jumps into the fray wax and goes, yeah, way to go, Bambi killer, or something like that.
I'm going to burn all my jerseys.
Yeah.
My first car was a Ford Taurus, a hand-me-down from Mama Tasker.
There you go.
2010.
So did you
I
get
don't know what it was.
So
it was
did you
probably
guys
like a mid-90s.
Okay. Did you guys nickname your cars? Because when you said Taurus, one of my sons, we had a Taurus. It was a hand-me-down from my brother. Okay. And so they called it the Tour Dog. So, hey, let's take the Tour Dog. Let's go in the Tour Dog. So everybody seems to have a name for their vehicle. And then when you see those vehicles today, my wife and I were talking about this, and I digress, but it's like if you try to make something that, food-wise, that your grandma made or your mom made, and you remember, oh, my God, that tuna noodle casserole was the best. And what was in it? Oh, there was just tuna. There was the cream of mushroom soup, noodles.
Yeah, maybe this.
And you try to make it, it ain't even close to what it once was back in the day.
No.
Right? Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
It's just like a sandwich, though, right? It's if somebody else makes it for you, or you go to Subway, or you go to wherever, it's always better when somebody else makes it. You just
even
can't
better.
ever quite replicate it.
Even better when they buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Wag's motto. If you're buying, I'm trying. There you go.
If it's free, I'll take 3.
That's right. So this week, Eric, you sent Wags and I some information about things to, again, we always talk about preparation this time of year as far as the deer season is concerned, and you guys are immersed in the early bow season, but the gun season will be here before you know it. I know one of the things on this list that you talked about, first and foremost, is make a mock scrape to lure early season deer, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty common thing that a lot of people will do, Wags. I don't know how many you have out there right now, but I think it's a great way to if you don't have an inventory on your bucks, it's a way that they will interact with your property, that you get a better idea of what's actually out there. So whether you're hunting over them or you just have a trail camera set up on them, it's like the foundation of what we do when we're picking out stand locations is we want to have a scrape that's around us, but also doing mock scrapes and, using the doe pee and all that stuff to try and bring them in. But they interact with it on a regular basis then. So it's helpful for a couple different reasons, whether that's hunting or just getting inventory of bucks on your property.
Yeah. So what we did is we put up the T-stakes. So we get an 8-footer, they're 4 inches in diameter. I think Menards was selling them for like $8. And then we'll screw it in, and one side we'll rip off a branch so they can rub and scrape on that branch. Yep. And on the other side, we'll dip a rope, and we'll just hang a rope on both sides. It's nice. I like my mock scrapes because even when I go check, heck, you can just walk by yourself, and I just kick them around and pee on them myself. I mean, you don't need buck lure or anything like that. Because
right.
It's always been good for me. Somebody will say, no, you can't have human pee there because of this or because of that. Human pee works for me, and it fills and they re-scrape it up.
Worked for you, and it worked for Moisey St. Loup. So.
Yes.
All right, let's continue. Next one. Pick a strategy. What do you guys do? Picking a strategy. Do you hunt bucks, does, whatever comes your way? We'll start with you, Eric Tasker.
Yeah, so I've always been of the mindset that when I'm out early season, I will certainly take a doe. But it's hard to just say, I read that tip and I thought to myself, yeah, but what if you go in with the mindset of, I'm going to just take does, and then all of a sudden your buck comes in. So you got to have a little versatility with it. But, Wags, I know we have talked about this a couple times, when are you taking does? When are you not? My whole philosophy has been up until like maybe October 15th, October 10th, October 15th, usually when that youth hunt and the disability hunt rolls around, that's when I stop looking for does. And it's bucks only for about a month. And then once you get into the end of November, you know, once gun season rolls around, it's kind of, you know, if it's brown, it's down. But I usually stick to, all right, I'm okay with taking does early. I'm totally good with that. I'd rather shoot them early before they start getting into heat and all that. But hey, man, you got to be versatile with that. And you can't tell me that there's somebody that goes out there and says, I'm only shooting a doe today, and a big buck walks out and they're not slinging an arrow at it.
Right. I don't take does until gun season. I figure the more does I have running around, the better chance. I walk into a bar and I see 50 girls in there, women. But Wagner's got a chance. You know, if I take these does away and I walk into a bar and there's only five women in there, Wagner ain't got no chance. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna let those does live. I don't take them until gun. So then that first week, and I won't take my does until Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That's kind of when I'll harvest does. I know I have to take does off my property, but that's kind of sort of like what I told you to do. Remember when you came out a couple times? You take your does late.
Yeah.
I take my does late.
One of the things, Wags, you talked about last week, we were talking about your property and when crops come down and things change. But one of the things that's really important in all those years when I hunted up north in western Wisconsin, you hunt the food. And what I mean by that is bean fields, corn fields, if there's leftover alfalfa fields, that type of stuff. You want to hunt the food plots too, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of how I've had mine set up. Obviously, I have staging areas with my food plots. But I'll go to those points because those animals will go. They have a tendency to go to those large ag fields right at that shooting hour. I got to catch them in the staging area, and that's kind of what I do. They'll come up either way through the timber. They'll come at my place. They'll grouse on a little bit of green, and then they'll jump into the big ag fields. So I have to hit them before they get into those fields or get there early, and when they come out of those ag fields and go back to bed.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's exactly what Wag said. If you know where they're traveling through, it makes it a whole lot easier, but at least having a good idea of where those critical food sources are, and that can change. I mean, for Wags, if the corn crops are getting taken out and you still got bean fields, well, they're probably going to be favoring that other side of your property.
Right. So we always talk about weather, and the term weather plays a factor. Weather plays a factor here, especially, and we just touched on the fact we're not going to have rain. We haven't had rain for almost 2 weeks. Weather right now is playing a factor, isn't it, fellas? It has to be. Outside of wherever Luke Musgrave was hunting. Then weather was not a factor,
It's been such a weird summer because we were getting, Wags, we were getting it out by us for what felt like 6 weeks. It was just thunderstorm after thunderstorm, and it was so wet all the time. And now we're just in this massive extended drought, and it's finally going to come to an end, hopefully early next week. But, that's just it. And I think the weather is making things a little bit challenging, because you are worried about your scent getting out into the woods. If it's 75 degrees while you're carrying a stand out and doing all those things, I mean, you got to be concerned about your scent. But also, what are they favoring right now? Well, of course, they're looking for a water source, just like you were saying, Wags, is that when it's hot like this, man, you can't run a marathon if you're not drinking water. And if they're going to be out and about, trying to scavenge for food, they need to be hydrated. So that's always an important part of their psychology for the fall when it's warm like this.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree.
My fondest memories of deer hunting with my grandfather was two things. One, it always happened. My grandmother and my grandfather, he was probably into his late 70s by then. He was a stroke survivor, but he still went in the woods, right? And they would be on the front porch. It's pitch black, and they're on the front porch, and she, for whatever reason, decides she's going to help this man load his gun. And you hear, I've been loading this gun for 30 years. I think I know what I'm doing. We're like, oh, okay. All right, we'll let that go. But my fondest memories besides that is my grandfather and I, pitch black, walking into the woods together. It just had a simple flashlight. It was down the farm field, the farm road. You had gone 1,000 times, so you wouldn't even need the flashlight. Sometimes, like last night, or not last night, but what night was it? Wednesday night.
Yep.
The moon was beautiful. I said to my wife, "You remember these moons when we were in high school?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "These are beer drinking moons. This would be a Busch Light moon."
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
I said, you would sit on the hood of your car with your buddies or your girlfriend, and you dream, and you drink some beers, and, you did it responsibly. And we were flashing back to that. But the point I'm trying to make with this is that ain't nothing wrong going into the woods early, because you want to beat the crowd, especially like you do, Eric. You hunt in public land.
Right. Yeah. And it's always interesting when you pull up to a parking lot and it's, public land, and it's a spot that a lot of people know about, easily accessible and all those things. The thing that I think about the entire way there is how many other cars are going to be there that I'm going to have to figure out. All right, there's 20 cars out here today. It looks like it's going to be a busy day in the woods. Or am I going to be the first one there and I can get out of my truck and I can get into the woods and I can have my stand of my choice? It makes a difference sometimes, because once you're up in your stand, hopefully everybody else is going to be respectful enough to, if you're shining a light at them or doing whatever to let them know where you're at, hopefully they're respectful enough that they will not sit nearby you. But it gives you that advantage of sitting in that number one spot that you want.
And getting there early doesn't really affect me as far as the deer hunting, but when we go duck hunting, you always want to pull in. And when you see a couple trucks there with empty trailers, you're like, gosh, damn it. Where is he?
Yeah,
is he right in my spot?
Exactly.
I'm like, I could have slept another hour then.
Well, and you guys talk about going out ahead of time. Well, my brother-in-law and I used to hunt on some river bottom land over by La Crosse. And I remember he had scoped it out. I had never been in there before. It's pitch black. And what he did was he had like orange, like almost like a duct tape type thing, like ribbons.
Yeah.
And he had tied them in trees so that they were reflected, so that when we had a flashlight, it led us down to exactly where we were hunting. If we didn't have those, if he hadn't done that, we would have been screwed.
So that's a really good thing, because we never even talked about this, really, with people, but I do it to get my daughters out there, and when somebody comes out to my property, they also have these fluorescent thumbtacks.
Yes.
So what I do is, and I don't put them up high, I put them probably about a foot off the ground. So when you keep your flashlight down, pointed at the ground, you're not going to walk into a tree, but you can follow it to the right side. So you can see my hand. You kind of tilt the flashlight tilt your wrist to the right or to the left, and I can boom, 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 and walk. But that's a good point, and we don't talk about that much, tagging it, especially walking out too. So
here's the thing: I did it once with him, and I'll tell you why. So when you went, and again, as I said, I had never been with him before in this spot. It's dark. I don't know. We're just walking, but you can feel the terrain going down, 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 right? And we had parked in the edge of a cornfield. So we had to walk across the cornfield, did not have an ATV, and then we walked down the hill. We have our pack and our gun and everything else. So my brother bags a nice 8-point buck right along the base of the river. It took us 4 hours
to get him
to get this deer out, and it was an old logging road, and we're pulling this thing over trees that are down. I mean, you sweated going into the woods, My God, we were stripping down. And then when we got from the river bottom to the corner of the field, I looked across, Paul, and we still had a couple more 1,000 yards to go to get to the truck. And I looked at
what? And the biggest thing with that is just take your time.